Oh.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is, but we're going to talk to you guys about Meagan Good. Yes, Meagan is good. Alright? Not vegan. Meagan. Alright, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the what? Uploads, baby. Hey, make sure you click on that bell button. That bell button for the notification of the uploads. Sorry, I did it wrong. Understand? And you ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. Click on the clothing line down below. You understand? Get yourself a mineral hoodie. Get yourself a mineral t-shirt. Let's get it popping, baby. Alright, cool. So, what's about Meagan Good? Now, obviously, me personally, obviously, I you know what? Meagan Good is like my boyhood, childhood crush, in it. You get me? Love the fact that she's in the faith. We've got one, guys. So love the fact that she's in the faith. I know she's in a journey. I know her and Devon have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations in the public eye when it comes to the church. Now, there was a recent video that was done with Meagan Good on her own page. Where she's showing her face, smiling next to an emoji, etc., etc. And someone comments down below, and the comment is about the fact that it looks like she's lightened her skin. And actually, Meagan Good actually replies saying, "Hey, do you know what? That's not what happened. I had a particular issue with skin, and I got given the wrong product, and yes, my face is a little bit lighter, etc., etc." Now, I don't know how truthful that is, how plausible that is. I don't know. What I am going to talk about, though, isn't necessarily Meagan Good herself. What I am going to talk about is the industry and the reason why this is important. Because I saw many comments on there jumping on the woman who did accuse pretty much Meagan Good of lightening herself. They jumped on her and obviously were cussing. Now, here's the thing. One thing that people don't understand is that I'm not trying to come at Meagan Good. It's more of a case of the industry that they're in, the Hollywood, the musical world of America and UK and the world, etc., right? All of these things, there are things that are happening that are detrimental to the dark-skinned women, and I'm going to say women in general, because when you look at the acting, there's enough dark-skinned men out there. Yeah, if I say dark-skinned men, I'm sure you can name quite a few. Your Tay Diggs, your Morris Chestnuts, I'm not even good with names, but I can think of a few in my head, do you understand? Yeah, there's a lot of them, yeah, Barled too and everything, alright. But when you think of dark-skinned women, and I'm not talking about fair, I'm not talking about light brown, I'm talking about dark-skinned women, how many of those actors can you name? Because I can think of Tiki Sumpter, and I can think of Lupita Nyong'o, yeah? Maybe Whoopi Goldberg's dark skin too, right? So I can think of quite a few, but have you noticed that a majority of these women don't play roles where they're feminine? And when I say feminine, they're soft, you understand? Normally the roles that they're playing very hard women, very stern, strong women, and I like the fact they're strong, but it starts from, you have to understand, if the only roles that dark-skinned women keep getting played are these strong, independent, I do my thing kind of roles, the Viola Davis, another example of having a dark-skinned woman who's in a prominent position, like How to Get Away with Murder. I love the fact that she's in that, How to Get Away with Murder, but we don't get to see the softer woman side of her. You know what I'm saying? And when she was even doing a role with, I think it was, what was it? The one with the guy from Taken, Liam Neeson. Even though she was playing a bit more softer role, again, she was still playing a hard nut. You understand? It's like every single time these black women become roles in things, they have to be these hard nuts. There's no feminist energy allowed in there, it seems like. I don't know, there may be some films out there that I don't really know about, but they never seem to be allowed to be able to be in these roles where they're not so hard. You understand? And so what that does is, again, it reinforces in the mind of the dark-skinned girl when she's watching these things, I gotta be hard. Now, I was watching a film, I think it was on Netflix, and it was one that it was quite recent. It's quite recent on Netflix, and the character, yeah, is a dark-skinned guy. He's fairly dark-skinned. He's a black guy, yeah, and the girl is a light-skinned girl, and her best friend is dark-skinned, and it's almost like the ugly. I don't want to say the ugly, but you know what I mean, like. In terms of, obviously, the way they've done it aesthetics-wise, right? It's the dark-skinned, big friend, right? And I've just started noticing, I was like, oh my ways, They do this a lot. Whenever the film they release out, right, seems to be a black woman, yeah, oftentimes, sorry, when it's a dark-skinned man, they don't put a dark-skinned woman next to him. I know then it's officially a black film. But what they do is they often put an appeasing light brown woman. Now, I'm not going to try and come at anybody. People like Taraji P. Henson, they're dark, but not dark. You understand? I want you to just deep this, and I'm not trying to create division. What I'm trying to get you to do is see something. That we're not there yet. Look, we've got our foot in the door. We've now got black actors. We like it, but we can't stop there. You understand? We can't stop there. So when you have a role where the guy is dark-skinned, and then the woman becomes lighter-skinned, what does that say for the dark-skinned woman? If every single time the big blockbusters where there is a dark-skinned black guy, there's either a light-skinned girl or a white girl. Even Dangerous Lies. I was like, well, there's a dark-skinned black guy, but the girl was super, like, she's kind of ambiguous. Now, if it had been a black girl, would this film would it have got the same thing? You see, and I started to realize that they do this all the time, like, and so this colorism aspect that we're talking about, that's why the Meagan Good thing was important. It wasn't necessarily the fact that Meagan Good herself, I believed, was doing lightning, but rather that we need to start looking at the greater topic of conversation here. Why is this woman getting vexed that she's lightning herself? It's because other people see Meagan Good on a platform as a let's say a quote-unquote dark-skinned woman or a black woman, and if she's lightning herself, these kids don't have a representation. Many of you grew up on TV. Did you see many dark-skinned black women on your screens? I remember from UK, ITV News used to have a dark-skinned woman with an afro wig. I used to love her, man. BBC News today. And you know, I was captivated by her and Trevor Nelson, right? They were so important for me because those are the only real times I got to see black people. The rest of the time I saw white folk, light-skinned folk. And if you know the history behind colorism, I've done a video already, so I'm not going to do it. I'll go into the history of it. But you must understand that the industry wants colorism because it causes division for us. But what we need to do is start to help build a platform to bring through more dark-skinned women. Because someone might say, well, there isn't enough dark-skinned women out there to actually hire, so they can't get in the roles. Well, why do you think that is? Because we've built a system that doesn't allow them to flourish. Someone might say they might not have the talent. Well, why would a skin tone change the talent? It's not a good excuse. Do you feel what I'm saying? And I feel like when I remember it was like Fighting Temptations. Not Fighting Temptations. Tyler Perry's Confessions of a whatever. I can't remember what it was. The one with the Jesse Smollett one, right? Again, dark skinned guy, light skinned woman, right? And it's just like, even in Medea's films, like a lot of the guy people would be light skinned. It's like, blood, come on. What was it? Bow Wow's girl was a light skinned. There was other things that I just like, blood. It was getting to a point where it's too much, bruv. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just trying to get us to be aware, open our eyes. So when we talk about Meagan Good, we're not really talking about just about her. We're talking about what the representation is, and just understanding that. Listen, being a dark-skinned woman, you know, going into that industry, I think TK Sumter was even talking about it. That it can become very difficult because people don't even realize that being a lighter shade of brown is a privilege. It's more of a privilege of being dark-skinned, but because obviously you don't see your privilege against you feel like you're underprivileged against a white woman. You don't realize that you as a light brown person has an advantage with a dark-skinned woman. You understand? How many times have you seen a dark-skinned woman and a dark man, and the film has been pushed to blockbuster level? What, do dark-skinned people don't know how to make good films? Of course we do. You understand? But the point is that it's almost as if the media out there are not ready for that. Can't give them that. It's too real. Can't give them that. It's too real. That's why they cast someone like Zoe Saldana as, or Zoe Saldana or whatever her name is. It wouldn't matter. I can't remember who it is, to play Harriet Tubman or whatever. Because it's all about colorism. It wasn't nothing to do with the fact she was good for the role. They could have got someone who was dark skinned, you know, to do it, but they didn't. So all I'm saying is, listen, we need to open up a platform. I'm not agreeing with the person's comment about Meagan Good because I don't know her situation, but what I do know is we need to open up the doors. We need to open up the floodgates in abundance and cause your rain to fall on me. Yes. That's it, guys. Make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe. Open the floodgates, kind of like bell button, baby, in abundance and cause your rain.